did you see next week's preview? Holy crap, that Huh? What? Oh, sorry. First things first. Serena's Pokemon Showcase.
Pokemon! 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 Pokemon!
Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon XY&Z anime discussion. Today, we're going to talk about the review, the preview, and, of course, the new title that was also revealed recently as well. So, let's just jump right into this particular review. Okay, if I didn't know that Serena was going to win her Pokemon Showcase, or her Princess Key, I most definitely would have liked this episode a lot more, and the outcome being revealed beforehand did not make it as enjoyable as it could have been. That being said, it was still a very decent Serena Pokemon Showcase episode, so let's of course jump right into what happened in this particular episode. So, Serena has finally arrived in Frey City, the location of her Pokemon Showcase. She runs into Amelia, who everyone is admiring, and then of course Amelia comes off as superior to everyone and very smug. That seems to be Amelia's personality, and she's not really a nice person, and she basically walks off. Not everyone, Serena gets a little worried about everyone's attention on Amelia, so she has trouble eating. Why am I talking like that? Sorry. Whoa, okay, anyway. So, but once Ash and Clement notice it, Serena, gets over her little problem for the time being. So Sylveon has gotten over its fear. It's fine with everything so far. When Chespin was trying to encourage Sylveon, Sylveon was happy and caused Chespin to blush. So, Sylveon, evolution did your mind good. So, Serena is very psyched up for this Pokemon Showcase, but then here comes Amelia. Anyway, speaking of Amelia, does no one notice that Amelia is packing a shiny Dragonair? Like, it's a different color than normal. It's purple. No one seems to notice this. Serena, you're not going to pull out your Pokedex to see what a Dragonair is? Maybe wondering why it's so different looking? I mean, maybe it was a casual mention in the episode, but yeah, wonder why it wasn't mentioned at all. Anyway, so we run it. So then, of course, it goes to Yashio, who has just arrived to the showcase hall, and of course, she's talking to either the mayor of the city, or Amelia's father, or maybe one of her attendants, because apparently Amelia is rich, probably lives in a mansion full of butlers, maids, service attendant people, or whatever. I don't know who it was, but that person was trying to get Yashio to be interested in Amelia. And, for the most part, Yashio does ignore him. I think if she did say anything to this guy, I think, and I can't say for sure, that she says, if Amelia deserves my attention, she will get it, basically, or something to the effect of, leave me alone, whatever happens will happen. So I don't know, it depends entirely on what a translator will say, and so far there haven't been that many translations in regards to this particular episode. So, anyway, moving on. So then, of course, we get to Pierre, and I'm like, wait, that is the key? You gave Jessie a really cool key, and you're giving Serena what? Oh, you mean that's the key? Whoa. Oh, I take everything back. I was just saying, that's a pretty cool, sweet key. So now Serena oh, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize. I apologize. Okay, but so the question still is, who is getting this Ferris wheel key? No, I didn't spoil the winner already. Let's just move on. So then, of course, we get into the theme performance, which is odd, mind you. Not sure if it makes all that much sense, but apparently it's gathering the most Rhyhorn as much as you possible by any means. You win the particular theme performance. I mean, sure, I guess. So anyway, when Serena is of course doing it, all of them head to Serena for some other reason, probably because she's the most interesting of all the other girls in there. So of course they crowd around her and start licking her. Then of course another performer uses Lilligant to use Sweet Scent to divide some of them. Then of course Serena notices this lone Rhyhorn, and she basically says, forget her other Rhyhorn. It goes to this lone Rhyhorn, and she basically, like comforts it, says that everything is okay, and then she rides it. And so then, of course, she wins the theme performance. I should also note at this particular moment, Yasho is never interested in anyone's theme performance. For some reason, it seems like Yasho is only interested in free performance, because I think Serena deserves a couple of brownie points here, a couple of extra bonus points here for what she did for that Rhyhorn, and it seems like Ash and company were the only ones that actually noticed this or acknowledged it. Everyone else was just like, okay, alright. So, anyway, so then of course it's Amelia's turn. She has her Espeon and Dragonair using Attract, and of course she moves on to the theme performance, just like Serena did. So then of course it cuts to Sylveon being worried about the free performance because of Eevee's mix-up in the last performance. Now that it's evolved and everything, it remembers what it did in the last showcase, and of course Eevee at the time didn't do so well, so Sylveon is a little bit worried. But then, of course, Serena reassures her Pokemon, including Sylveon, with delicious poffins, and everything is alright. And I think she basically says, if you do your best, even if we fail miserably, although I don't think we're going to fail miserably, just do your best, we'll be fine. If we lose, we lose, but at least we went out there and did our best. Something like that possibly could have happened. So, anyway, moving on. So then it cuts to Amelia's free performance, and it was okay. I mean, all that really happened was Attract, which may have been interesting for the audience members, and then of course it was basically use Rain Dance and then use Ice Beam to make frozen bubbles or whatever surrounding the area. So that was pretty much it. It was very short. I mean, Amelia did do some other things in the beginning, but it just felt to me that Amelia's performance was just too disjointed. It was like she's doing so many free performances that there wasn't really a cohesive theme going on with her performance. At least in my opinion, but it's whatever. So then, of course, it's Serena's turn, and Yashio takes close attention to Serena's performance. And, of course, in my opinion, Serena did have the better performance. I mean, we only did see two, so can't speak for the other performers that made it to the free performance, but we definitely did get something better. Of course, the colors of the fire were different because this was animated beautifully, more so than most of the rest of the episode. I mean, it did kind of have a nice feeling to it, but it was really Serena's performance that really did benefit from the animation, at least in my opinion. I'm not someone out there that criticizes the animation when it looks distorted and stuff, all the criticisms in regards to Dragon Ball Super or some episodes of Pokemon. That's not my thing. I just enjoy it as it is, knowing that whoever made that particular episode can draw a heck of a lot better than me and can actually get paid for it. So I look at it like that. I'm not an art professor. I'm not a art critiquer person. So if it looks nice to me, it looks nice. I don't really care about a distorted Sylveon image when it's like spinning in the air potentially or whatever. So yeah, so then of course there was Fairy Wind, there was Stone Edge, there was Serena dancing with her Pokemon, and it was like a really nice, cohesive performance that was in relation to each other. And of course, Serena did something similar to Amelia in that she used, I think it was Fire Wind, maybe Stone Edge, and a fire attack where she created those floating fire attacks or something of that nature that was similar to Emilia's performance. But of course, that wasn't the end of it. She did, of course, did that dance routine, of course, and then she finished it off with a giant star of fire, like a swift attack with fire, and it was like this gigantic star, or whatever. And initially, in the beginning of Yashio, or not Yashio's performance, Serena's performance, Yashio was very happy by Serena, but then by the end, it seemed like she wasn't as impressed by Serena. I'm assuming, and I say here, I don't know, I'm not sure why, but I'm assuming it's because she senses or sees that something is missing from Serena's performance, and of course, I will mention that later, I think. So everyone is done, and of course they announced the winner of the Ferris Wheel Key or the Frey City Pokemon Showcase, and it is other than, I don't know. I think it was Serena, not sure, maybe. Yes, as expected, Serena did win the Princess Key, and of course Amelia, being the snobbish woman girl thingy creature that she was like, and she didn't say this, but her expression was like, no, no, not her. I don't know her, but not her. No. You know, she was like, why didn't I win? I was the winner. I was supposed to win. She's not really a nice person. Amelia is very sore loser, especially when we find out later in the episode. So anyway, then of course Yashio is still being mysterious and confusing about the whole thing. And then of course later on we see Serena talking with Shauna on the video conference call about her winning her final Princess Key. And then of course they have this big feast. Clement apparently made a big feast for everyone. With Serena winning her Princess Key, everyone is happy. And everyone Pokemon-wise basically showed up. I don't know if Luxray showed up, but the thing is, even though they didn't show up, they didn't talk. So of course we saw Greninja, Hawlucha, Noibat, Talonflame, etc., etc., and but they didn't actually talk. Only certain Pokemon talked. So I thought it was a really nice touch that they squeezed in some Pokemon that I certainly wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting Noibat to be flapping there in the air during that particular scene, not saying anything. So it's really nice that they shoved some cameo appearances of the group's Pokemon. And then, of course, something that I think is a pretty big development for this particular Pokemon is that Chespin does give Pancham his food, which is very different than before, because Chespin would try to eat everything, try to steal everything. So Chespin doing a solid for Pancham like that and giving its food is big for Chespin. It really shows that even though Chespin and Pancham have a little rivalry thing going on or whatever, it's a very friendly rivalry that they sometimes annoy each other. But it's really nice to know that they actually kind of do care about each other in a lot of aspects. So then, of course, we get into Serena in her room at night. It's getting close to night. It's dusk outside. And, of course, I think she's about to brush her Pokemon, but she looks in her bag and realizes that she forgot it in the showcase hall. So, of course, she goes back to it, and there's a girl there, random woman, lady, whatever, who gives Serena back her brush. And then, of course, she hears someone talking, and it's Amelia talking to Yashio, and Yashio is apparently trying to persuade Yashio to either allow her to be in the master class, or saying to pay attention to her, or make it so that she got the princess key instead of Serena, or probably the girl who won, I guess is what Amelia would probably say if she was referencing Serena at all within that thing. And of course she has that desperate tone in her voice or whatever. And then of course Yashio's like, look, you didn't impress me, you didn't even win, I really don't want anything to do with you. And then of course Amelia just walks away all upset. And I say here, boo-hoo, Amelia, you lost, deal with it. Serena has dealt with her losses before, so go deal with your loss, you spoiled brat. Apparently that's exactly what Amelia is. She's being a very sore loser. You know, I read in the forums before this episode even aired and stuff, and a lot of people were like, you know, Amelia is gonna probably act like a snob. She's gonna act like a rich snob. She's gonna act like a spoiled brat. And then there were some people trying to defend Amelia and be like, just because she's rich doesn't mean that she's gonna be a spoiled brat or whatever. Turns out the writers went with the obvious complaints in regards to Amelia's character. She really was a selfish brat. So yeah, I'm actually glad, even if Amelia had an interesting design, that we just probably will never see her again, probably. So of course, then after Amelia has left, Yashio actually says, "Hey, yo, Serena, I know that you were listening on in this conversation. Come on out, Serena. Take your medicine, take your punishment," or whatever the case was. And of course, some of it, what was being said, was translated already from the New Year's preview. So basically, what all I can repeat to you right now, based on what I know, is that Yashio basically said Serena is missing something. She's not going to be Arya because of that. And of course, then of course she leaves, and of course Serena's like, "What's going on? What's happening? What is my life right now?" So then of course it's basically catches Serena off guard, and later on she has trouble sleeping at night. So then of course in the morning the next day, Pierre announces the location of Masterclass, but before he does, he mentions Frey City's Pokemon Showcase and actually mentions Serena, which I think is really cool that Serena was basically a name drop on like national television basically at that moment when Pierre's like, "Yes, everybody, the Frey City tournament has finally come to an end, and the winner of that was, of course, Serena. So now I will reveal the master class location." And it might be also because Serena won 3 keys. Maybe it was like Serena can't participate in the master class. Maybe Frey City was the last showcase before master class. Regardless, Pierre did reveal the location of master class, and of course that's in Glorio City. Of course, Serena checks her map little device or whatever, and of course she realizes the distance means that they kind of have to backtrack away from Snowbell City, if I'm understanding the map correctly. I feel like the star is where they are in the middle, and then of course there's this location over here, or well, over here on that image, and I think the image of the dot over here is actually Snowbell Gym, while the image or the dot over here is Gloria City, and of course they're like in the middle, like right around here on that image or whatever. So I feel like they have to backtrack away from Snowbell to go to Gloria City. I don't know what I just said. Glorio City. And of course, Ash, knowing the difference between gym battles and Pokemon showcases, means that he knows that he can battle the gym leader, Wolfric, at any particular moment. So it's not like he's going to miss out getting his final gym. So he puts his hand on Serena's shoulder, and it's like, let's go to Glorio City. Let's get you hooked up with Masterclass. Let's do this. So then, of course, they decide to go to Glorio City, and then they head off to Masterclass, and that's basically the end of the episode. And, of course, in a couple episodes, we'll reach Glorio City, apparently. So yes, it was a very decent Serena episode. It was very focused on Serena and just a little peppering of Amelia, the spoiled brat. But it would have been better if the outcome hadn't been revealed. I can only imagine probably thinking, oh yeah, Amelia might win it. I mean, I didn't really like her performance all that much, but is Serena going to win? But of course, the titles were already revealed, and of course, we already knew about it, so it's not like it was anything all that interesting. So I think that pretty much covers my thoughts of the episode. Every stray thought that I had, I kind of already addressed earlier in the episode. So, except what does Yashio think Serena is missing? I don't really have any ideas, but there was something that I read in the forums that said that, and that user paid attention to the end of the performance where Yashio frowned or was not as impressed with Serena. Yashio was happier was actually enjoying Serena, and then all of a sudden she moved closer to the camera like this. And she had this look, or this confused look on her face, like something's not right, something is missing, and I don't know what it is. And I say here, maybe the end of her performance, maybe that's what it was. Maybe Serena didn't properly finish her performance. Maybe that's what she's missing. And I feel like maybe she needs more of a final punch, like that kick to end her performance. And maybe it's just, maybe Serena's finishes are just too, it's done? Alright, that's pretty good. But it wasn't like, wow! Now that is how you finish your performance. It may be something like that. I don't know. I'm just speculating based on what this user particular said. But at least that's an idea that might be the case. But otherwise, I just don't know. So, of course, with that being said, I don't think there's anything else for me to discuss. So, let's move on to the next particular episode, and that's the Zapdos and Noivern episode. So, of course, that's the preview. Alright, let's see. Okay, so, basic summary of the episode. I'll do a paraphrase summary of the episode. But of course, I want to talk about the VA list real quick. Very few voice actors were listed in this particular episode, at a pretty low number of 14 voice actors. Now, I know that you might think that's a lot, but that includes the majority of what's already in the cast. That includes Ash and Company, 4 characters. That includes Team Rocket, which is another 3 characters. That's 7. One of them is the narrator, so that's 8 right there. And of course, let's see, 4, 7, 8. There's Noibat and Noivern with separate voices and stuff, and then of course there's Stan. Let's see, I feel like I'm missing something here, and I can't look it up because my internet's down at the moment. So yeah, I feel like I'm missing something. Let's see. Oh, of course, there's Pikachu and Dedenne. Talonflame was listed. I'm not sure if any other Pokemon was listed. But it was very limited. The only character that was different from the normal main cast was, of course, Stan. Of course, he was voiced by a regular on the show who voiced one of the subway bosses in Diamond and not Diamond and Pearl, Best Wishes. So it's not like anyone was new or interesting in that particular thing. So I just wanted to let you know that that's pretty much all there is in the VA list. So granted, a lot of these VAs are doubling up. So Haluch is going to be in the episode along with James. So that's one actor doing 2 roles. So there may still be a lot of voice acting in regards to this episode. but I saw the voice acting, as I've said, and it was like very limited. There just wasn't a whole lot there. And I don't know if it's because multiple roles or whatever, but none of Team Rocket's Pokemon were listed. There was no Wobbuffet, there was no Gurgeist. I don't think Gurgeist is voiced by anything else. By anyone else, I'm not really sure on that. Inkay, I don't think was listed. I don't know if Inkay takes precedence over something or doesn't take precedence, but there was not a whole lot listed. So just wanted to let you know. So, oh, and while the preview was phenomenal for most of the part, I saw Team Rocket, and in the preview there was Team Rocket, and it was not exactly a very flattering um, appearance. It was rather very, well, I'll discuss the preview after the summary, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more then. So anyway, so of course the paraphrase, the summary, of course what we have here is Ash and company are going to a festival that focuses on Zapdos. I did that one on purpose. That focuses on Zapdos, the legendary bird Pokemon, or the electric Pokemon apparently. When an unexpected storm hits, they take shelter in a cave where they run into Stan, an injured rescue worker that was meaning to deliver medicine, and I think it was to a group of children or children in general, so he is unable to move. Ash and company decide to take his place and deliver it in his place. Yeah, I don't know why I repeated that. That was completely redundant. Bad note taker. I'm a bad note taker. But the moment, of course, they leave the cave, they run into Zapdos. So, of course, that's the summary. Now let's discuss the preview that we saw. We see Zapdos using electrical attacks. And then, of course, we see Stan, who a lot of people are joking is very similar to looking like Ash's father. Nah, I don't think so. I think he's Red's father, not Ash's. I mean, I can kind of see the resemblance, but I don't know. I think they just randomly gave him Red's hat kind of thing, gave him facial hair, so maybe he kind of looks like Ash, but I don't think he's really going to be that important. So then, of course, after that, we get Talonflame going down on Talonflame being hit by Charge Beam and then like flying down. And then, of course, we see Hawlucha attacking Zapdos in a really cool, nice scene. But, of course, if I'm not mistaken, Pokemon Fan revealed that Hawlucha gets knocked away as well. And then, of course, what we don't see is we don't see Jessie in a showcase hall winning her second or final Princess Key, and instead they seem to be in this particular role that involves the main plot of the episode, where they're probably going to be annoying and irritating, and I'm not exactly happy about that. I was kind of upset about people suggesting that Team Rocket should show up and just blast off instantly, because it would mean that Jessie's not getting her Princess Key. But it seems that that might actually be the case, hopefully. Maybe Team Rocket does get blasted off. Or blasting off again, hopefully, before they say their motto. They're going to say their motto, aren't they? They're going to be annoying in this episode, aren't they? We're going to get that. Why? Oh no, they couldn't. They didn't show up in the Pokemon Showcase Frey City thing, but they'll show here, and not in a very encouraging way. Alright, whatever. Oh, but we also see Ferrothorn. By the way, it was just like floating there. I think it might be Stan's Ferrothorn. A lot of people are joking that it's He Who Shall Not Be Named that was in Unova. That guy who also had a Samurott, a Riolu that evolved into Lucario, a Hydreigon, a Swanna, and technically a Watchog. Yeah, that character. Yeah, no one make that joke. or make that reference. I'm pretty sure it stands. It's not that character that we do not speak his name of. Anyway, where was I? Oh, and then of course we see something that was really amazing. We saw the end frames of Noibat evolving into Noivern. We saw Noivern just right that, which is very weird since we really didn't get any. We usually don't get scenes of other Pokemon all that much. Well, I mean, we did see Greninja a little bit, especially when it became Ash Greninja and stuff. But it's very odd that we'll get a preview where there's a Pokemon evolving where we'll actually see the Pokemon. I mean, true, there was that preview where we saw Ash capturing a Talonflame, indicating that his Fletchender was going to evolve, but I don't actually think that was in the preview itself. Could be wrong. So, yeah, it was really nice seeing Noivern dodging these attacks and then going after Zapdos, and I'm expecting Noivern to use some really nice moves, and I just really cannot wait. So, and based on the preview, I do think people need to give this episode a little more credit than they initially gave it, because having seen the preview, it definitely does not feel like a carbon copy of the Moltres episode. The only similarities are that it involves a legendary bird and the evolution of one of Ash's flying Pokemon. That is it. The preview had an entirely different feel than the Moltres episode. The Zapdos seems like it's a dark and stormy episode about a Zapdos who's like really angry for no reason. Team Rocket. Oh. Sorry, I blurted out some weird words that I don't understand. So it does look completely different. I mean, Moltres was just basically mild. It had Trevor, and it was very mild and stuff, and it didn't really seem all that much. And then, of course, Team Rocket angered Moltres by doing weird things, and then, of course, we had to deal with an angry Moltres. But Zapdos, if it's not Zapdos or if it's not Zapdos, it's got to be Zapdos. Am I right? So they're just angering Zapdos, but it seems like Zapdos is going to be very angry throughout this episode that Ash is forced to use his flying Pokemon to actually hit Zapdos and everything. So it looks really cool, and I just cannot wait for this episode to come out. I wish it was next week already. That's how much I want to watch this episode already. I mean, I feel like I'm more excited about this episode than the potential revelations of next generation games next. I know, blasphemy, but I've been really waiting for this particular episode to come out when it was first revealed. And I just can't wait, you know. So, but at the same time, I am semi-okay with it, but I'm also semi-disappointed that in Noivern being in the preview, and I say that because I was looking forward to seeing the evolution sequence. I wanted to see what we probably saw in Pokemon Fan. I would have liked to see Noibat flying and then having this energy flying around it, and then of course potentially becoming the shape of Noivern, and then of course Noibat evolves into Noivern, and it would have been cool to see that in the preview. Hey, wait, maybe we'll get the Pokénechi preview, and then of course it'll show us Noibat's evolution sequence. So maybe there's that. So anyway, with that said, I have to move on. I think I've said everything I can about this particular episode, other than I just cannot wait to see this episode. You know, I mean, I could go on further in speculating. You know, maybe Halucha will get a good X-Scissor in, maybe not Moltres. Yeah, Ash suddenly captured a Moltres. The Talonflame's secret evolution confirmed. No, maybe Talonflame will get a decent attack in, and I could discuss. But you know, I want to leave it as it is. Wait for the Pokénechi preview. Give my thoughts in the Twitter, on my Twitter account of my preview. So I just cannot. As you can tell, I'm like really excited about this particular episode. So anyway, that's all I have to say about this episode, and we have one final thing to discuss before I finish off this particular video. And now that I think about it, even though I tested, I hope the audio is working. I'm going to assume it is. So anyway, so of course I move on to the new title, and of course it's Ash versus Serena. What the heck? Oh shit! Ash versus no. It's Arya versus Serena. Open a door to the future. Sorry, I don't know why I said Ash. I saw the A, thought it was Ash, then realized that made no sense whatsoever. So it's Arya versus Serena. Open a door to the future, and this is the conclusion of Masterclass. This is the second Masterclass episode. The first one, of course, is Masterclass begins. Maiden's Bark of Fury or something of that nature. I'll probably have text correcting my mistake there because I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. So it seems that Serena has beaten all of her other rivals based on this title and is getting ready to battle Arya. Now, I realize that some people are upset with this in the same vein that I was upset with the reveal of the Masterclass, basically telling us that Serena was going to win the Ferris wheel Princess Key. And, you know, that's fine and everything, but this just basically reveals what I pretty much expected, and I'm pretty sure most people expected, that Serena was going to be the top contender to face off against Arya. It was eventually going to be Arya versus Serena. That's what everything was leading up to. There was no indication that Shauna was going to battle against Arya, or Jesse, or Musavi, or whatever, or, you know, Nini, or even Miet. We never really... There was no belief, I don't think, unless you really wanted Serena to lose. There was really no expectation that Serena was not going to beat her rivals to have a chance at being Kalos Queen. You know, it was basically decided the moment that Pokemon Showcases came out, because of the way that Pokemon Showcases are. Arya being the final boss, basically, in a battle, and her other rivals being just lesser bosses, you know, and Arya being the end-game boss. It was kind of obvious to begin with when we started getting to this home stretch of Pokemon Showcases that, of course, Serena was going to be the one to challenge against Arya. And I realized that it may have been a joke, and maybe I don't think it was a jab at me and how salty I was in my last video or last videos in regards to the revelation that Serena was going to win her Frey City Ferris wheel key. So, yeah, but it was expected that Serena was going to be the one to do with Arya. The only thing that the title does not exactly reveal, unless you think Open a Door to the Future pretty much confirms it, it does not say that Serena will win and become the Kalos Queen. It might seem like it's a guarantee, it might be expected, it might actually expected, and it might be predictable in that sense. Well, I mean, come on, there's only two options here. Either Serena beats Arya and becomes Kalos Queen, or she doesn't. I mean, there's only like a 50-50 chance here, so you can't exactly argue predictability. Here, you can't criticize the outcome for being predictable when there's really only two options here. I mean, you could have said, well, you know, the other rivals could have beaten Arya and become Kalos Queen, maybe, and so maybe that would have been not as predictable, but of course it was going to be predictable that Serena was going to tackle on Arya. So I didn't even check to see if there was a summary. I apologize. I'm not sure if I'm going to put text of a summary or whatever, but basically I'm just assuming that this episode just is like right after the first one. Maybe it'll be finishing up Serena winning the over her rivals at a chance of battling against Arya, and then of course it'll be about Arya versus Serena. I don't know if this is a battle or another performance where Arya will show off her Pokemon. I mean, we see Vivian in Pokemon Fan, so maybe it is another free performance, and then the audience members will choose either Arya's free performance or Serena's free performance, and then the winner will decide if whether or not Arya retains her Kalos Queen status or Serena ends up becoming Kalos Queen, is what I'm assuming is probably what's going to happen. As for the final outcome, I'm not really sure. I would place half my bets on Serena, half of my bets on Arya, because we really don't know. I feel like out of all the goals as they are presented, Serena, of all of Ash and even his other traveling companions, I feel like Serena is the most likely to succeed at her goal because of how half-baked Pokemon showcases were to begin with. I mean, theme performances, free performances, no Pokemon battles, 3 Princess Keys, Masterclass. You know, it wasn't really that great of a goal to begin with in comparison to Pokemon Contest. It was fine of a goal for Serena to get Serena to do something so she just wasn't a background character like Iris or even Misty and Brock and Clement and stuff or whatever. So at least she is getting focus in that regard, but it wasn't that big of a goal that really that would that would make it so that Serena would not become Kalos Queen as a result of this. It's just not that much of a well thought out goal that would make it so that Serena shouldn't go ahead and beat Arya to become Kalos Queen or whatever. But at the same time, it's possible that they just may not want to give Serena the Kalos Queen role. You know, because maybe Serena will have these particular purposes in her duties as Kalos Queen, and maybe she can't travel with Ash anymore. And they may want to be like, well, no, we can't do that to Serena. Serena should still be with Ash all the way through to the end of the region. So, of course, they're gonna have Serena fail just so she can continue with Ash. That's always a possibility. Like I said, I don't know. Open a door to the future seems pretty vague. It seems like it more implies that Serena does win the Pokemon performance, open a door to the future. I think it might be in reference to Serena realizing what she is missing in her performances, and then of course finishing off, and of course maybe we'll see Yashio being like, yes, yes, Serena, that is what I expected. I knew you had that in you and you finally figured it out. Something like that, and maybe, of course, Serena will win. Maybe Serena could still be Kalos Queen and go with Ash and continue on with the 8th gym badge and stuff. Maybe there'll be a couple peppered episodes in regards to Serena's being the Kalos Queen. It's always possible. Maybe because Serena is the Kalos Queen, hypothetically speaking, maybe she'll get a lot of attention in upcoming episodes after Masterclass, after the decision, and you know, maybe we'll get all sorts of goodies as a result of that. I don't know what's going to happen. Whatever's going to happen has happened. I do not think, though, that when Serena becomes Kalos Queen, she's just going to stop being a main character. I don't think that's going to happen. So, of course, I feel like if she does become Kalos Queen, she's just going to continue traveling with Ash and stuff, you know, and I'm hoping that'll be the case, and then, of course, Serena will still be there for the Team Flare arcs, you know, and stuff. And because this is actually the Delphox episode, I'm pretty sure it's in relation to Arya. It could still mean that Braixen could still evolve, but I feel like that might not have much purpose here, except maybe to give Braixen mystical fire, or not Braixen, sorry, Delphox mystical fire upon evolution, you know, to make it a little bit different. I don't know what's going to happen. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So, I think that's all I have to say about this particular episode. Right now, I've said everything that I can say. I don't know if I'm going to be able to record my Ash's next capture speculation. Thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.